but the music always dominated. It was always the music, you know, first and foremost. I think I'd already done a few tracks with the brothers at Festival Studios in Sydney, and then I went to Melbourne, but I used to fly up 2 or 3 times, I think. I came up and stayed over at the house and played on some tunes. I did about maybe 8 tunes with them before I set off for England.
Yeah, that was a good studio at Hurstville.
It was so primitive in these days. It was like 2-track.
Beautiful.
And
sound got out of it.
yes, exactly.
I think Spicks and Specks was recorded there.
Yeah, I think so.
Wine and Women, and
No, Wine and Women was Festival. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they hated. Well,
but I had the opportunity of building a rapport musically with them, and I'd already made close friends with Morris and yourself, and so we had a lot of connection towards the end. And the brothers, I don't know if you would have witnessed this, Barbara, but I remember sitting around a table in the kitchen, and I was just about to fly to England, and I sort of half-heartedly thought I might try acting again, because I still had a few connections there. But the understanding we reached that around that table was that this is perfect because you can go off, they're on the same ship but next sailing, and I'd have time to see if I could make any progress. And then when you all arrived, do you remember my little bedsit in Hampstead?
Yeah, yeah.
What a dump that was. With the bare light bulb, do you remember this?
They were all like, everybody, all the bands that came over were like that. You know,
I know.
You know,
I know. But
they were all in these dingy little places.
I know.
It was just somewhere to sort of camp,
yeah,
to get out and, you know, and do things, and the rents were cheap, so, you know.
We were all extremely optimistic, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think, like, rationally you knew there would be hardships, but deep down I think we all felt, well, I certainly felt, that we had the goods there to make an impact.
Yeah.
It was obvious, and I think we had the good fortune there to land a contract with Stigwood.
Mr. Stickweed.
Yeah, and a man of great vision, and great drive. And at the same time, we met Bill Shepherd.
Love Bill. Yeah, great orchestra.
Yeah, and he
all there. Backing
was a beautiful arranger, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Massachusetts, for goodness sake, that intro. And then the studio we worked in was called IBC.
IBC, yeah.
And 2 great engineers. We had another engineer come over with you lot that we used for the first album, Ozzie Byrne, and
and that was it.
Looking back at it now, I'm amazed at what we fitted in that particular year. It's absolutely extraordinary, and the speed in which it happened
Do you mean touring?
It was being in England, and that made it all more imaginative, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a uniqueness. Like, I know the Beatles, they had so much influence,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, the sound was so distinctive. That's what I always loved about it.
Yeah. Battle of the Blue and
But
Grey.
it was that blend
Yeah.
of the three voices. It's like the Beach Boys. It's so distinctive.
Yeah.
And that's so important in the business too.
Yeah.
People turn a radio on, and if they know who it is straight away, they'll pay more attention to
Yeah.
it. I'm just so looking forward to doing this show again. And I really am, because it's good, right? And that's a confidence and an expectation that not only will it keep going on, especially in this format tonight with the orchestra, great
thought that
songs,
was lovely.
great songs
Yeah.
last forever.
Yeah, they do. They do, that's for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
And personally with this show, I'm thrilled to be able, by being part of this,
I think they're
to
great.
keep
They're
those
absolutely
songs going, keep them alive.
Yeah.
And I think Barry has made the same statement along the way.
Yeah.
And that's all that's our goal.
Yeah.
And that's why when we play, say, the classics,
Yeah.
we're not up there to be virtuosos and look how many chords I can fit in.
Yeah.
There's none of that. It's as pure as possible
That's right.
reproduction of the records themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's why
They do
it
a brilliant
works.
job of that.
Pardon?
They do a brilliant job of that. Yeah, I think they're wonderful. I do.
Bee Gees and
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's great. Yeah, it's what he loves, and I think it's really good. Good that he's come back to it. It's great.
It took me a while, after 35 years, Barbara, to start playing at an acceptable sort of
Yeah.
level, and I play some nice little things
Yeah.
most nights, and but it's I'm hemming and hawing about it when it was suggested, and then all of a sudden this drum kit arrives up in Mullaney where I was living,
Yeah.
and I'd been doing a handful of concerts with the band, just with the narrative part of it, giving my little anecdotes, and then I get contacted by Evan. It's about time you got up and played a song or two. And I said, Evan, it's not going to happen because I haven't played for 35 years. He's having none of that, right? So the following morning, the guy knocks at my door and he's got this truck and there's these big boxes, and the band are virtually saying, you've got no excuses now, right? So I didn't even bother taking out the tom-toms because I figured if I couldn't nail it, various tracks,
Yeah.
just with a hi-hat and bass drum and snare, there's no point in trying to go on, is there really,
Yeah.
because the odds are it's going to be pretty ordinary.
Yeah.
So, and I'd about an hour a day for a month. And then I plucked up the courage, and the band is saying, hey, you've got to really, you've got to swing to your playing. okay? And they're building up my confidence, and I love it. I really do. It took a lot of work and concentration, but I think the fact that they're such great players makes it easy. Well, it makes it easy on everyone. That's the fact. But to me, we've got a lovely bass player, and that's a very important part of a band. And that's the pulse of the band.
Yeah.
And no, I'm really proud to be part of it. And I'm so pleased that Barbara enjoys it. I still can't believe the scale of it when I was with the band. I know they got enormous after that, but just to be whacked with that experience,
I know.
It's just absolutely wonderful. They're geniuses. Or Barry's the only one, but they were geniuses.
Yeah.
They remain geniuses, you know, really, because they're legendary. And gee, when it worked, it was so exciting. You know, special little things. I remember you were talking about Robin, okay? And I remember, yes, I did play it a little bit on a section of it with a sort of marching type drum, and that was Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that line, "Oh, you're a holiday," it's so tender, and it's a lovely word to describe it for two people in love.
Yeah.
Being with you is a holiday. Simple things are just so great when they come off, aren't they? But another two songs, Massachusetts comes to mind. Apart from, it's got a lovely relaxed feel about it, particularly. Great melody, and Bill Shepherd's intro. And a much later song, one that I wasn't involved, is How Deep Is Your Love. That's one of my favourite songs. I'm playing World pretty well now. I think that I would have been happy with it at the time. I'm loving playing. I'm loving being part of a bunch of lovely people. Every one of them, just lovely people, easygoing, great to travel with, all optimistic, good sense of humour. It's lovely.
How do you feel about it?
Oh, I just love it. I think they're wonderful. I'd go and see them every week if they were close to me. They're absolutely amazing. The first time I heard them, it was in Newcastle. I was just blown away, absolutely blown away with the whole production, with the videos in the background and everything. Some of those things just brought back so many memories too. You know, it's just wonderful. I just love it, and they do just such a brilliant job of each song. You know, there's tribute bands out there, you know, but some of them, they can't sing. You know, they do the best they can, but they can't sing. But everybody in this band, everything was just, there wasn't one single song I could say, oh, that's not, you know.
No, it's
everything's
not.
spot on.
It's
Everything
true.
is spot on. It's wonderful. Love it.